Well, folks, it's Sam going live today. I'm feeling the higher love, and I'm sharing it with you. Huge times right now with this Venus-Jupiter exchange happening in the sky as we get near the upcoming solar eclipse. We had the lunar eclipse actually at the end of Leo in Virgo, but right now we're very much in a place of trying to elevate what we call love. As you see, it says here, the highest stages of love. And so often when I communicate, as I have recently, about devotion and how it's higher than just emotions and how this Pisces energy is, challenging us to access those higher stages, we don't really, it can come off where it sounds like it's bypassing or it's insulting to what we're saying, love or emotion or desire. So I'm going to talk about it very scientifically today, very systematically. It's not again, like a lot of things that we don't really understand, we draw a lot of conclusions and we hear things through our kind of frame of reference, which is often not very well, informed. And so I'm going to talk about it. And as you see here, I have these highest stages of love here, as it says, Prema, Bhakti, Kama, Sneha, Vatsalya, Maitri, Karuna, Atma Prema. These are Sanskrit terms and Indian terms for accessing higher stages of, quote, love. And I'm going to be talking about that today. The other thing that I do have here, and I want to make sure people know, is that if you haven't gotten it yet, you can go to samspecials.com and access the 2025 Pisces solar eclipse for each of the 12 signs. I already did this, and it's a 90-minute full immersion into this eclipse, into this Pisces eclipse that we're all dealing with, where, again, one of the major themes, if not on some level the major theme of this Pisces eclipse energy, is this relationship to higher stages of love and beauty and the capacity to let go and surrender our version of life or love or whatever. And so again, I talked about this for like 90 minutes. And it included stories, spiritual stories. I also talked about eclipses in general and how we're in this eclipse vortex right now, really until like the end of April. And by the way, even this nature of Venus and Jupiter, this exchange is going on until the middle of May. So buckle up and strap in. These are huge things and huge opportunities. So before I start to make sure to subscribe and get notified if you like this type of content. I'm doing videos like this all the time. Leave a comment if this is helpful as well. So let's get into it. This exchange, as you can see in the sky, we have this exchange, which means that Venus is in Jupiter's sign and Jupiter is in Venus's sign. And when we have these exchanges, what it shows is that one planet is in the other's house or sign and vice versa. So with Venus and Jupiter, they're the two gurus, the two teachers. And these two teachers teach us different things, right? Jupiter teaches us how to sort of leave the earth and just the realm of the earth, for a simpler way to put it, to transcend our animalistic desires. Again, I'm not insulting the animal or the animalistic desires and the desire to be happy and to enjoy life and to experience pleasure and happiness and joy and love. All that is Venus stuff. Venus teaches us how to live on this earth, how to experience those things, basically how to enjoy those things. Because the reason we suffer in life is actually because we don't even know how to enjoy the things we say we want to enjoy. And this is actually also what Venus is underneath it all. Underneath it all, Venus is the capacity to actually enjoy the things we say we want, right? And again, this often get mixed up with things like love. But again, most of what we call love in the mundane sense through the matrix of our limited sort of animalistic mind and what we would call ego in the Indian sense, which is everything except higher consciousness, is actually what we see here on this slide indicated as kama, passion, passionate, desire-based love, experienced through the senses, through the world, especially the love that we have for our romantic partners and that passionate, desire-filled love. We call that love. It's a form of love. It's the densest form. And again, this is not to insult it or to be critical or to bypass it or all that stuff. Try to put that out of your mind if this is what you're thinking. Try to have an open mind, right? It's not an insult to it. Just like it's not an insult that animals, by the way, animals also experience these different levels of love, prema, also, Vatsalya, which is like love and nurturing. So there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that desire-filled love, that kama, gets us engaged, gets us involved with others so that we can evolve within the higher forms. So, but really the densest form is where we generally start, kama, passion, desire. And our romantic relationships, for example, they're literally based on that. And again, even if it's not, it doesn't mean it's purely sexual. It means that there's some kind of attraction there, right? Some kind of attraction that starts that whole process. And that whole process is sort of hooking us into something deeper, because then we have to get into an agreement with the person and then see how much we respect them, they respect us. We're able to do that exchange of energy. John Etherington says, Steve Winwood would approve. Yes, higher love. Give me a higher love. Right. The song, right? So let's go over these different aspects. Now, there's a classical way to look at the Indian stages of love. That's just the four that are said to be 4 stages of love, which are those 4. I think they wind up being Bhakti, Sneha, Atma Prema, and Kama, right? This is a little more nuanced. There's a few more in here that are broken down because, for example, Prema winds up including other ones like on this list, which would be Sneha and Karuna. But let's just go through this, okay? So those of you who are going to come at me and say, there's only 4, they're included in this, but they're a little more nuanced, as you'll see. So Prema, it says, is pure, unconditional, and divine love. Like, for example, from Radha to Krishna. Now, again, this is a devotion. When I'll talk about devotion, pure, unconditional, divine love, but it's devotion. It's a different kind of devotion, which is different than, for example, Vatsalya, which is parental love and nurturing, like Yashoda to Krishna, because Yashoda was Krishna's mom. So there's a different devotion that a parent has for a child than a devotee has for a guru, right? They both are sort of prema, but they're different types of prema. And I would say one is the evolution of the other, because the Vatsalya, which is the unconditional love that a parent has for a child, is kind of biologically sort of hardwired. And by the way, it's not just biologically hardwired for the biological parent. It's also sort of biologically hardwired for everyone, and their relationship with children winds up having that sort of prema, or has that sort of relationship around children, right? Everyone sort of has that around children, because we naturally become more generous, gracious. We're not as devoted to others' children, though. So, but this is, Prema, Vatsalya are more of this devotion. And again, we're devoted to kids is kind of hardwired, but then later we become devoted to a guru and a teacher and teachings. It's a different type of love. It's a different type of prema or unconditional love or devotion. So you would put prema and Vatsalya, for example, in the realm of devotion. But again, this is why children are also gurus, and it's the same kind of thing. Then there's Bhakti, which is devotional love and surrender. Now, again, I've used devotion for Prema. Bhakti is also close in that same realm, but it winds up having this kind of surrender. It says Mirabai, who was a great devotee, you'll see people who do things, for example, who perform different acts as service and devotion. This is called Bhakti. So again, these are all higher forms of love when you find, for example, even parents are devoted to their children. Now, it's not Bhakti in that sense, but again, you know, the services that parents perform for their children is a form of devotion. But again, it's more biological, and it's mixed as well. It's a mixed kind of thing. It's not as pure as the Bhakti that the devotee performs, like, for example, singing devotional songs and doing worship, performing rituals in service. It's important because it's also possible to perform different rituals and say your mantra and do your sadhana, as it's called, but not necessarily in the spirit of bhakti. Why? Because there are many people, and again, this isn't to be judgmental, this is for us to reflect. But I've been around a lot of devotees my whole life. And there are a lot of people who do the meditation and do the practices because of what they're going to get. I'm not being rude about it, but it's like, well, I do my meditation every day. I do it every day because it makes me feel blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. That's fine. Meditation is science. Yoga, it will work whether you believe in anything or not, whether there's any bhakti involved or not. If you say mantras every day, if you sit there, especially if you say like long mantras, you know, like I say the Lalita Sahasranam, if you sit there and say the 1,000 names of the Divine Mother, I don't care if you believe the Divine Mother exists or if you have any feeling at all. Just saying those vibrations scientifically are going to change your consciousness. If you say it with bhakti, well, then it's a whole different level. Because then you're not just reciting sacred vibrations that reorient your consciousness. Now you're saying them with love and with bhakti. But again, I say pure love, true love. You're saying that with prema, with the pure unconditional love. You're so grateful that you found these mantras, that you found this guru. And there's so much love. And you're saying it, it's called bhakti. Then it becomes devotion. Then you love saying your mantras. You love doing your spiritual practices. People ask me again, and they'll ask me these things. I'm looking for a guru. Where will I find a guru? How do I get a guru? What? And again, I understand the questions, but they're also looking for a guru because they want to feel better. And that's fine. I also understand that. This is also why, especially a lot recently, I've been talking about how we wind up making everything emotional. When we're looking for gurus or we're just looking for everything so that we'll feel better, then everything becomes kind of a transaction. Well, I'll say the mantra and see how I feel. Well, at first, if it's just a transaction, there's no bhakti. And it's going to just be work. It's another work. It's another thing we're trying to do to get what we want. And it all revolves around the ego and the desire, kama, to feel good. It's still very much vibrating in that kama energy, the desire to be happy, the desire to feel good. I'll say the mantra, and then if I feel good, I'll keep saying it. Oh, I don't feel good either, because now my mind is wandering, and that doesn't work either. And this is what we wind up telling ourselves. And these lower forms, again, they're not lower because they're bad. They're lower because they're not elevated. We get disappointed because we're just looking to feel good and be happy. Is it going to make me happy? I'll do it. When there's love there and devotion, it's reward in itself. You do it because you love it, not because you're going to get anything. Again, just like the parent for the child, or by the way we love our pets, I think that's also the Vatsalya. And I tend to use pets also, even more than children, because children grow up and then we have a kind of complicated relationship with children. But with pets, it's a simple relationship. So Prema, Bhakti, Vatsalya, these are also very connected to selfless love, nurturing, things like that, right? Again, and then we talked about kama. Kama is the desire, passionate desire-based love. It's the densest form, but it's also very connected to sensuality. And, kama is also much more easily expressed as happiness. This is an easier way to look at kama. Desire, but it's not just desire for anything. It's a desire to be happy. Desire, I want this good thing. I don't want that bad thing. The Bhagavad Gita is all about kama or dharma. And by the way, all of these higher forms of love, that is dharma. Dharma is divine love. It's the truth. Dharma means right actions, the actions that we do to connect us to the truth. And it all revolves around prema and Atma Prema and higher forms of love. This is why when we find gurus and teachings that we love, then it's effortless. So when we get into kama, again, it's very much just driven by desire, which is the desire to be happy, first to get what we want from the other person, and then we're willing to give up something else to get what we want. But underneath it all, it's really revolving around what we want, because as soon as it stops making us happy, then the whole thing changes. Again, sometimes people don't like when I say that because, but that aspect of any relationship where we're constantly seeing, am I still happy? Is this making me happy? Do I feel appreciated? Is this good? Is it bad? That's all kama. And within romantic relationships, all of these other levels are also possible. Prema, especially things like Sneha, deep emotional affection, family bonds. This is particularly what can happen in romantic relationships when they evolve beyond just desires. Someone becomes kind of like a part of our family. Like we see them kind of like brother, sister. Even in romantic relationships, there's certainly higher love and affection. In fact, a relationship needs to elevate and graduate beyond just desires. And when they do, they start to take on a quality of Sneha, more than just kama and passion. And we start to see the person as like a soul sister, soul brother. And then whether the relationship works or not, or whether they make us happy or not, we still have a place of deep love and affection for that person, aside from how they make us feel, or what they do for us, or how they disappoint us, or they're mean to us at times. Just like with our family, we have more, tolerance and space for it. And then as I talked about Vatsalya, parental love and nurturing, Yashoda and Krishna. Yashoda was Krishna's mom as Krishna was born on earth. Again, this is a different type. You can see how these are all different, right? Different versions of love. It's different the way we would have kind of deep affection for a family member like a sister or brother, or even a romantic partner who has moved beyond just, someone that I want to get something from and be in this partnership from. Like I'm friends with almost all of my ex-girlfriends, pretty much all of them. And it has that kind of quality. There's that sort of, deep emotional affection. I love these people to death because they tried to put up with my nonsense and they really did. And I see them as someone who is like, I understand a deep level of soul connection. And I don't want anything from them. Again, this is a big thing to understand about higher love. You don't want anything. This is the biggest thing to understand. Which, by the way, also leads to Maitri, friendship and trust, Krishna-Arjuna. This is one of the deepest forms of spiritual love that I think is often misunderstood and misrepresented, underrepresented. And I tell stories quite a bit about that divine friendship, God as divine friend. Because it's really kind of my relationship with my guru and really with all people. I really see people more. I see my guru in this way. I see people that would be maybe in my courses, or people that would maybe who see me as like a guru or teacher or something, which it's fine if they want to see it that way. I don't see that hierarchy. I see everything as more in this line of divine friend, even with my guru, who I know is like the divine mother incarnate. I know this, but my kind of relationship like with her and with others, is more of this divine friend, which is also related to Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna was in the chariot with Krishna helping him, but also Radha and Krishna as well. Even though it says up here, Radha had the pure unconditional divine love, but she also had the Maitri. In fact, the nakshatra of Anuradha is ruled by the god Mitra, who is the god of friendship. So this deep friendship is and trust. Think of the friend you have that you trust the most. Again, a key thing is you don't want anything from them. Keep this in mind. This is anytime when you want something from them, and then when they don't get it or when they don't give it, there's a problem. Then it's kama. All the other ones are higher vibrations. So this Maitri is like when God becomes that being or entity that you can turn to at any moment, where you know you're not going to be judged, where you know you're going to be accepted, where there's total trust and friendship. God is divine friend. Like you know, tell me anything. There's no judgment, there's no condemnation. If you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. Like there's just total friendship. And then there's trust. And that's what that vibration, and especially that trust, is a very important thing, because many times people, and I see it, they approach gurus, like with my guru Amma and other gurus, they kind of fear them, or they have this whole kind of complicated relationship where, again, they still kind of want something, but they have this devotion, but they don't really, I don't know, they feel like maybe the guru judges them or condemns them, or they're, oh, I know Amma's going to get me if I do this whole kind of, almost, it's very much a kind of Western Abrahamic religion of God is both, punisher and reward. He gives carrots and sticks and all like that. That's a very Western version of God. And you should understand this in the Indian sense. That's very different. In the Eastern sense, in the Indian sense, the concept of God as the Atman and as divine love and wisdom is not this punisher, is not this one who's giving carrots and sticks. You go to heaven or you go to hell, I'm going to punish you. No, it's only the divine love. The thing that punishes us and sends us into hell is our ego, is our ignorance. God is all the benevolence. And as soon as we let go of that ego thing, it's nothing but benevolence. We're the one doing that. And so, no, it's our ego that creates the dichotomy and that holds on to the illusions in the Eastern sense. This is why the biggest thing is liberation, is to let go. When we say let go, it's let go of that. Let go of that illusion, let go of all of that delusion that, no, I'm really this person who has all these emotions and all these feelings, and I'm this thing, and all this happened to me. No, that wasn't you. That's your karma based on this, that we read through astrology and whatnot. You are the spirit inside. And liberation is being liberated from that attachment to that, right? So God as divine friend means this trust that's always there in that divine vibration and divine energy. Then we have this compassionate love, which is called Karuna. This is like the love that saints and have for us, and that and all of humanity, like this desire and this capacity to like love everyone, this compassionate love for all, and this desire to want to uplift all, where the love isn't just this personal thing. And again, this is kind of the way once someone becomes enlightened, for example, this is the kind of love they have. They see everything and everyone as an extension of the same love. There's not individuals. The rest of these are kind of individual experiences. Karuna is a larger function where it's not about our relationship with individuals and things like that. And then the highest form really is Atma Prema, self-love and spiritual awakening. Atma means the self, and Prema is pure unconditional love. So pure unconditional love to you as self. Understand, all of these things are happening in you because you are the fullness of existence. You are already the totality of existence. It's already you. You are already that. You don't have to do anything to create it. You just have to let go of the notion that you're not that. Now, it's not easy because you have a lot invested. Your whole ego, your whole identity revolves around the notion that you are this separate person. So it's a deep habit that you're in, that yes, I'm Sam, this person with eyes and ears and a mouth who talks and who sitting in front of a computer, who's an astrologer, blah, 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 whatever. This identity, we're very invested in it, but we can also let go of it at any time because inside your true nature is free of all of it. Now, again, what winds up happening is we want to hang on, and it's very natural because we want to hang on because it's scary. And let's be honest, it's scary to say, well, why would I want to let go of all of that? I liked a lot of that. I like living. I love my life. I love all the beauty. I don't want to let go of it. I get it. Really. What we want is we want to let go of the bad stuff and keep the good stuff. We all do, including me all the time. My whole life revolves around it, just like you. I want to be happy, don't want to be sad. I want it to be easy. I want to keep all the good stuff, let go of the bad stuff. Can I just do that? Can I just keep the good stuff, let go of the bad stuff? All of this is still just kind of the ego scheming. You know, the ego operates through time. It needs time to scheme and to, well, what about this? Oh, we plot and scheme. Look, letting go of and, surrendering isn't losing anything. It's gaining everything. Because it's like saying, okay, I have $1,000. And I say, okay, you got to give me that $1,000 and I'll give you $1 million. And then you say, but I don't want to lose the $1,000. Yeah, but if you let go of the $1,000, you get $1 million. So it's not, the equation isn't just, you're not just letting go of the bad thing, you're getting much more. And the million includes the 1,000. So the surrender part, which is where we're at with this Pisces energy, the capacity and need to surrender and let go is underneath all of this, driving all of this with a high capacity now. And again, I want you to also just kind of feel into the fact of how much you want to let go. You're just like, oh, can I just let go of all this? Oh my God. And we see everything around us kind of dissolving whether we want it to or not. A lot of things are letting go of us. It's not even just whether we want to let go. In many aspects of life, we don't have much choice but to let go. We're seeing things dissolve around us. And so, in many ways, this letting go, instead of looking at the world and and what do I do? We make it very complicated because the ego is very complicated. Our desires, our karma is very complicated because, again, good and bad and this thing, and the ego schemes to try to get the good thing and avoid the bad thing, and we make it very complicated stories. When the reality is very simple. It's simple. We're attached to a limited identity that's never going to be complete or feel complete. That's why our consciousness is fragmented as all this energy filters out through these desires, karma. We call that love. That feels like love to us because kama is the way love feels to the ego. Kama is how love feels to the ego, and it generates emotions. Emotions are how the heart feels to the ego. But just like you're not only emotions and only desires, the emotions are the waves on the ocean, and your nature is the depth of the ocean. That pure love, that Prema, Bhakti, Sneha, Vatsalya, Maitri, Karuna, and Atma Prema is the depth of the cosmic ocean. That's your nature, is the depth, not the waves. Your nature isn't the kama and the schemes to try to make it work through the ego. Again, kama is how that love operates through the ego. It's all of the depth, which is everything you're looking for. You're looking to be connected to the heart, not just scheming through the surface of desire. And the biggest thing to do anyway is to let go of the illusion rather than escape into another one. And this eclipse time right now is very ripe with that possibility. So again, I do want to also just say, if you haven't gotten it yet, again, this eclipse class that I taught was like an hour and a half, where I really went over in great detail how the eclipses work, how we're in this kind of funnel right now, this eclipse vortex right now. I went over some powerful stories about Shiva, the stories of water getting in the boat and how the boat sinks. A lot of metaphors about water now because of this Pisces energy, and then also the snake and the rope and other types of spiritual stories. And I invite you to check that out at samsspecials.com. And I hope this was helpful. Please also share it with others and leave a nice comment. For a limited time, I'm offering 10 hours of masterclasses, Yoga and Vedic Astrology, Quantum Vedic Astrology, and Spiritual Astrology Masterclass. These are 3 great courses that will really help you a lot. Now, in case you don't know who I am, I taught the Astroved certification course, Dattatreya Shiva Baba, in 2010. Ravi Shankar published my book in 2018. I've been around for decades. I've been teaching these great classes, and if you go to VedicAstrologyEssentials.com, you can get this 90% off discount of these 3 great classes, more than 10 hours, guaranteed value. You can check this out. These 3 classes will give you all the necessary tools to begin to learn Vedic astrology. Please find me on YouTube at Sam Jeppy, Vedic Astrology Teacher. On there since 2007, thousands of hours of classes. Also on Facebook at Astrology Teacher, tons of articles updated regularly, and I'm on Instagram at Vedic Astrology 108, ongoing updates and interaction.